Versatile Mage. Chapter 96 Vanguard Squad. Students, follow me. Wind Magicians, take the lead and clear us a path. Zhu Musheng shouted urgently. The students closest to the windows scrambled into the corridor, but they were met by a crush of panicked classmates from other classes. The hallway became a chaotic mess of bodies, shrieks, and confusion, with teachers struggling, and failing, to restore order. Mo Fan stood in the corridor, watching the terrified faces around him. A trace of grief flickered in his eyes. They reminded him of a herd of wild deer. The moment one spotted a wolf, it would bolt. The rest, seeing this, would follow blindly, their fear spreading like wildfire. In truth, there might only be one wolf, and if the deer stood together, even a few wolves might not prevail. But fear was contagious, and Mo Fan knew it was the same in his former world. Why else did so many deadly stampedes occur? Inside the classroom, fear had driven most students back. The skills drilled into them day after day seemed to vanish in this critical moment. Lightning strike, mad whip. A fierce chant rang out. Mo Fan turned to see Zhu Zhaoting unleash his anger. Arcs of savage lightning danced through the air, whipping toward the one-eyed magic wolf. His aim was not perfect, but several strikes still connected, forcing the beast to howl in pain as its muscles spasmed violently. Humph! Just one one-eyed magic wolf and you all cower like beaten dogs. Pathetic. Zhu Zhaoting scoffed at those lagging behind. That's right, we have plenty of people here. Why be afraid of just a few wolves? Wang Sanpang added. Without hesitation, Wang Sanpang began casting. In 3 seconds, his earth ripple spell was complete. Slamming his large hands onto the floor, he sent ripples racing from the classroom down into the concrete of the campus. The paralyzed wolf was thrown into a basketball hoop with a violent crash. Zhuman, showing rare courage, swiftly completed her fire star path. A blazing fire burst formed in her grasp. Taking advantage of the wolf's prone state, she hurled the fireball. It streaked past the school's flagpole and struck the trapped beast squarely. The burning bone effect roared to life, reducing the hoop's backboard to ashes and engulfing the wolf in flames. Its pained howls echoed as it rolled frantically across the campus. From other positions, several practical teachers joined in, casting different element spells. Working together, they quickly reduced the reckless wolf to a charred corpse. Seeing the danger eliminated, Mo Fan let out a quiet sigh of relief. Not everyone here was useless after all. Over here, Zhu Musheng called to the handful of students who had remained calm. Zhu Zhaoting, Zhao Kunsen, Mu Bai, and Zhuman, all veterans of past practicals who had faced magical beasts before, stepped forward. Over the past year, their fear had diminished considerably. You're probably wondering why I've called you, Zhu Musheng began, his expression uncharacteristically grave. Normally, this responsibility would fall to the teachers. But there are large numbers of one-eyed magic wolves in the back mountain, and our teachers' strength is limited. We must draw on your abilities. Teacher, this isn't the time for speeches. Just tell us what you want, Wang Sanpang interrupted impatiently. We need a vanguard squad, Zhu Musheng explained. It will be a separate unit, operating ahead of the main group. The nearly 2,000 people in our school will follow the path you clear. Your combat strength is on par with our teachers, perhaps even better. You would be the ones leading everyone to the safety shelters. The group fell silent. The danger was obvious. Away from the main group, they would face magical beasts directly, without the safety of numbers. This is voluntary, Zhu Musheng continued. If you refuse, I'll find others, but it will delay us, and increase the risk to everyone. I will lead the vanguard squad myself. Please decide quickly. I'm in, Zhuman said without hesitation. I'll join too, Zhu Zhaoting added firmly. Seeing his friend commit, Wang Sanpang sighed and agreed as well. Mu Bai and Zhao Kunsen exchanged a look before nodding. An earth element student with excellent grades soon followed. Zhang Xiaoho hesitated, glancing at Mo Fan. Brother Fan, Are we sticking with the main group or joining the vanguard? Vanguard, Mo Fan replied immediately. I didn't expect you to be a man of principle, Zhang Xiaohou teased, still able to joke in such tense circumstances. It's not about principle, Mo Fan said calmly. It's actually safer. How? Zhang Xiaohou asked, puzzled. The main group's huge. Even if magical beasts attack, they can't do much. You saw it just now, Mo Fan explained quietly. One wolf, and everyone panicked. Fear spreads, and magnifies, in a crowd. That means the main group's fighting ability will be crippled. 100 magical beasts could wipe them out completely. And with such a large, noisy crowd, they'll only attract more beasts, maybe even high-level ones. I don't want to be trapped with a flock of sheep. When the time comes, they won't control their fate. Chapter end. Versatile Mage. Chapter 97 Sudden Death. After Zhang Xiaohou heard this, he looked at Mo Fan in surprise. He had never considered this point. Zhang Xiaohou himself couldn't tell whether Mo Fan was right or wrong. He just subconsciously trusted Mo Fan's judgment. Zhang Xiaohou didn't know that Mo Fan could be considered a hunter-magician with real experience hunting magical beasts. Living in that kind of environment had taught Mo Fan one very important principle. Never think that a large number of people automatically meant great strength. Why did the Hunters Union only form small squads to hunt beasts outside the city? Didn't they know that more people meant greater safety? The truth was, the larger the group, the easier it was to attract the attention of large numbers of magical beasts, and the easier it was for them to become prey for higher level ones. The number of people in the vanguard squad wasn't that high. If they encountered a large group of magical beasts, they could probably avoid them. Their movements would be less restricted, and the decision to fight or retreat could be made quickly. However, if they were in the main group, if they didn't run into large numbers of magical beasts, they would be fine. But if they attracted the attention of a soldier-class creature and its pack, the main group would definitely be massacred. In such a slaughter, your life would no longer be in your own hands. The vanguard squad had 10 people in total, with Zhu Musheng in charge. After passing through the school gates, the streets ahead were deserted. Trash was scattered everywhere. Vendor stalls were overturned, goods spilled onto the ground. Store doors were wide open with no one inside. When the blood alert sounded, all civilians either hid in their homes or ran toward the safety shelters with all their strength, leaving chaos behind. This was also the main reason the school had been delayed in retreating. Even so, there were still many people who hadn't reached the safety shelters. As Tianlan Magic High began to move toward safety, civilians from nearby areas rushed over, hoping to use the strength of the students and teachers to safely cross the 3 kilometers of dangerous streets. The vanguard squad walked at the very front of the main group. Zhang Xiaohou climbed to the top of a building and quickly saw the scene of civilians converging toward the school. I'm afraid there'll be over 4,000 people moving with us now. Many here didn't make it to the safety shelters in time. They were too afraid to travel alone, so now they're being drawn to the main group like iron dust to a magnet, Zhang Xiaohou reported after jumping down. With more people, we may be able to fend off smaller groups of magical beasts, but they'll also slow us down, Zhu Musheng said coolly. Magic high schools were different from magic universities. University students often had more combat power than regular army mages, but high schools nurtured apprentices who weren't even 18. A student able to protect themselves in a blood alert was already exceptional. Protecting a mass of civilians was far beyond their capabilities. This isn't something we can change. It's not like we can just throw them away, Zhou Min said. Let's move. Now that the main group is up to 4,000, the burden on us has also increased, Zhu Musheng ordered. Everyone nodded. Zhang Xiaohou, Zhang Yinglu, Wind magicians will lead and find us a path. The rest will follow closely. It was clear that Zhu Musheng had military training. He had some experience in deployment and formations, with at least a basic plan for this kind of situation. The squad moved quickly. Leaving the school gates, They took the main street, followed the pedestrian path, and passed through a residential area with elevator buildings. From there, they would be able to see the safety shelters. The main street, about a kilometer long, was completely blocked by abandoned cars. Forget buses, even bicycles would have trouble passing. With traffic completely blocked, walking was their only option. 3 kilometers, far, yet not far. Whether anything would happen along the way was out of their hands. There's a colossal-eyed ape rat in the book kiosk ahead, Zhang Yinglu reported, pale and out of breath. It's chewing on a child, Zhang Xiaohou added grimly. By the time they saw it, the child was already dead. But the bloody scene had burned itself into their eyes, chilling them to the core. They continued forward, passing a diagonally parked bus that blocked part of the street. Beyond it, they could see the kiosk, blood-soaked, with the body of a boy no older than 10 lying in a pool of red. Where's the colossal-eyed ape rat? Zhu Musheng frowned, scanning the area but seeing nothing. It was just goo 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 goo. Before Zhang Yinglu could finish, a third creature lunged from behind a nearby Volkswagen, its two huge incisors aiming for her throat. Poochie. Zhang Yinglu was a thin, fragile girl. The colossal-eyed ape rat tore out her neck in an instant, spraying her life's blood across the bus's advertisements in front of the stunned squad. The attack was too sudden. Even Zhu Musheng, standing right beside her, was caught completely off guard. Her blood splashed across his face. Hide in the bus, hurry! Mo Fan shouted. The squad snapped out of their shock and stumbled toward the bus. Zhu Musheng reacted quickly, pulling Zhang Yinglu's body as he leapt inside. The colossal-eyed ape rat tried to follow but crashed into the doorway, its bulky body unable to fit through. The others frantically clambered inside another bus. Zhu Zhaoting, seeing Zhang Yinglu killed before his eyes, began chanting in rage to summon lightning. Mo Fan started to connect his star path as well, but then noticed something strange. The beast-seeking powder he had sprinkled was drifting in several different directions. Realization struck. Everyone, get on the bus. There's more than one colossal-eyed ape rat here. Mo Fan yelled, cutting off Zhou Min's casting and dragging her inside. Monkey, stop guarding Zhang Yinglu, she's gone. Draw that colossal-eyed ape rat away or we're all dead. Mo Fan shouted to Zhang Xiaohou. Zhang Xiaohou had already activated his wind path during the attack, intending to rescue her. Unfortunately, what he didn't know was that after a magical beast strike, very few primary magicians could do anything to save the victim. His eyes reddened. In a blink, the girl who had shared his class was dead. This cursed magical beast. Chapter N. Versatile Mage. Chapter 98. Street Battle Ape Rat. Wind Track. Flash Steps. Zhang Xiaohou quickly attracted the attention of the colossal-eyed ape rat whose mouth was covered with blood. Using the second level of wind track, Zhang Xiaohou's figure nimbly passed through the chaotically parked cars. Whenever the colossal-eyed ape rat tried to slice open Zhang Xiaohou's chest with its claws, it only struck the stream of air left behind by Zhang Xiaohou. Monkey, be careful, there's another one. Mo Fan had already climbed on top of the bus. With one glance, he saw the figure with fierce fur arching its body as it hid behind the advertisement board at the bus stop. Zhang Xiaohou was moving at high speed as a large rat with fierce teeth tenaciously pursued him. How could he have time to consider the position of the other colossal-eyed ape rat? Mo Fan had used the beast-seeking powder to find the unexpectedly sly colossal-eyed ape rat. These magical beasts had always lived in an environment where the strong preyed on the weak. Their methods were much more savage than humans, who had been living safely in the city. Magicians who had not truly experienced hunting beasts could also be killed, just like Zhang Yinglu. Even being a wind magician, she did not know she needed to have her wind track activated at all times. Look, its neck is stretching, Zhuman hastily said to Mo Fan as she saw the colossal-eyed ape rat hiding behind the public transportation advertisement board. As Mo Fan saw this, he began to curse to himself. The colossal-eyed ape rat's abilities were not limited to biting and scratching. Its most dreadful attack was the scarlet red beam shot from its eyes, a frightening power capable of penetrating a person's body. At this moment, the colossal-eyed ape rat's gaze was locked precisely onto Zhang Xiaohou. Dazzle, blind. Just when Mo Fan was getting extremely anxious, Zhu Musheng yelled out with an awe-inspiring power in his voice. Suddenly, a milky white light ball emerged in front of the colossal-eyed ape rat that was stretching its neck, emitting a bright radiance. The radiance was extremely fierce. The paint on the advertisement looked as though it was melting from the heat of the light. The students inside the buses hastily closed their eyes, yet they still felt the burn from the fierce light. The dazzling light exploded in front of the colossal-eyed ape rat, the fierce glare like the edge of swords as it pierced into the widened eyes of the beast. The rat's cornea began to burn, and the heat spread to its entire eye socket. The colossal-eyed ape rat, which was ready to use its scarlet red light beam, was burned blind by the light. It let out sounds of grief as it crashed into everything in its surroundings. At this time, Zhang Xiaohou finally realized there was another colossal-eyed ape rat hiding by the bus stop's advertisement board. He quickly changed his position, shaking off the monster that was chasing him before returning to everyone. "Mr. Zhu, thank you," Zhang Xiaohou panted. This dazzling light had directly blinded a colossal-eyed ape rat that was a threat to everyone. As for the remaining rat, once they had time to link their star paths, the animal would no longer be able to hurt them. The first one to take action was Mo Fan. He was the fastest at finishing his star path, and his third-level fire magic gave the colossal-eyed ape rat no chance to hide. An indignant rupturing flame grandly exploded in front of the beast that had killed Zhang Yinglu. Beep 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 beep. As it exploded, it instantly triggered the ear-piercing alarms of nearby cars. Numerous car windows shattered beneath Mo Fan's fire burst, rupture. The colossal-eyed ape rat was sent flying into the iron roll-up door of a milk tea store. The fur on its body was burned to a crisp, its flesh split open, and shards of glass were embedded into its muscles. Zhu Musheng turned his head toward the fire-wielding Mo Fan who had struck the colossal-eyed ape rat. Pleasant astonishment flashed in his eyes. It truly deserved to be called the third level of fire burst. Its power had caused a magical beast to struggle to get back up. As long as the Vanguard squad had a powerful student like Mo Fan, they probably wouldn't be completely wiped out. That freaking animal, I will skin it. Wang Sanpang and Zhang Xiaohou were exceptionally angry. Just minutes earlier, that beast had bitten their female classmate to death. In just a few days, she would have entered the beautiful Magic University. However, she had been killed by this ugly monster. Who could suppress the rage in their hearts in this kind of situation? "Don't go, it hasn't died yet," Mo Fan immediately shouted. Just as Wang Sanpang was about to take revenge for Zhang Yinglu, the colossal-eyed ape rat, which had seemed on the verge of death, suddenly jumped up, its killing incisors snapping toward Wang Sanpang. Wang Sanpang's complexion changed, and he instinctively rolled to the side. The sharp incisor bit down, tearing a bloody chunk from Wang Sanpang's shoulder. Everyone who saw this couldn't help but gasp. "Animal, go die." Enraged, Zhu Zhaoting's lightning traces swirled around his body like a whip as they lashed toward the incredibly sly colossal-eyed ape rat. Lightning strike. Mad Whip's might was ferocious. It further mutilated the colossal-eyed ape rat, and the repeated electric arcs running through its body left it unable to move. All it could do was lay on the ground and squeal in pain. Wang Sanpang frantically crawled back to the bus, blood flowing from his shoulder. His face was deathly pale and filled with fear. Zhu Zhaoting, Zhuman, and Zhang Shuhua continued to bombard the colossal-eyed ape rat with magic, smashing it into pieces. This time, the colossal-eyed ape rat was truly dead. However, no one's expression relaxed. So this was a genuine magical beast. It only took a second for them to kill someone. Even a moment's carelessness could send a magician's life to the underworld. It's good that you reminded us," or else Wang Sanpang would have ended up like Zhang Yinglu, Zhu Zhaoting said to Mo Fan in shock. Zhu Musheng nodded repeatedly. Even he hadn't expected that the vanguard squad he had formed with the strongest students would suffer a death and injury on their first encounter with a magical beast. Mo Fan, you seem to have a deep understanding of magical beasts' nature. Why don't you take command of the squad? Yu and I will be responsible for defense. Yu, I know saying this now may seem harsh, but you saw with your own eyes how Zhang Yinglu was killed. This is not the time to squat on the floor trembling and crying for the dead. Please cast your water defensive spell when the next magical beast attacks any of us, or else the remaining 9 of us may not survive until the safety shelter, and the 4,000 or so people following behind us would lose their direction from here on. Zhu Musheng walked over to Yu, who was so scared that she was barely conscious, and spoke quietly yet firmly. I'm sorry, I really am sorry. I am unable to finish the star path. Yu's face was streaked with tears. She was terrified, afraid she would end up like Zhang Yinglu. Do your best. As long as you can cast a water barrier, you can save our lives. I believe you can do it, Zhu Musheng said. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 99. Safe Passage. Mo Fan glanced at Yu, who was choking with emotions as she cried, and couldn't help but sigh. Xiaoke was also a water magician. She had also grasped the second level of water barrier. However, when facing a magical beast, Yu was no different from a normal girl and was unable to cast a spell. If the other people within the squad were like that, then more people would die the next time they encountered magical beasts. At the moment, Mo Fan didn't know just how many would lose their lives. He could only force himself to advance along this road. Since Mr. Zhu wants me to lead this squad, then I hope everyone will keep in mind what I said. We may not smoothly arrive at the safety shelters, but at the very least, we will be able to prevent unnecessary deaths, Mo Fan said, looking as though he had lost his spirit. This vanguard squad had viewed magical beasts too simply. The ones in the practicals were just for practice. Before the spirit wolf had gone berserk, it had not intended to kill the students. Genuine magical beasts were definitely not like this. They would use any and all methods to kill humans, and even if they knew they would die, they would still use their last remaining strength to drag one more person down with them. Magical beasts lived in an environment where they killed each other and understood very well the techniques to kill others. The primary magical beasts we will be facing are of 2 kinds: colossal-eyed ape rats and one-eyed magic wolves. Colossal-eyed ape rats can be considered easier to deal with. The scary ones are one-eyed magic wolves. Their cruelty and slyness are far above that of colossal-eyed ape rats. If we happen to encounter 3 or more one-eyed magic wolves, then don't hesitate, split up and escape by yourselves. If luck is on our side, then only 3 of us will die. If we don't run, then everyone will die, Mo Fan said resolutely and decisively. The truth was, if 2 one-eyed magic wolves appeared at the same time, that would be enough to bring a life-threatening blow to this vanguard squad. Currently, Mo Fan only wished to let his classmates understand that the dread of magical beasts was thousands of times scarier than what was described in class. This was no longer practice, nor a simple practical. This was a battle that involved life and death. If you win, you live. If you lose, you die. Zhu Zhaoting, Wang Sanpang, Zhuman, Mu Bai, Zhao Kunsen, Zhang Xiaoho, Yu, Zhang Shuhua, and Zhu Musheng were all looking at Mo Fan attentively. The reminder Mo Fan had given them was meant to help everyone avoid casualties their first time out. While they were listening to him, they were also thinking to themselves, why was Mo Fan, a third-year high school student just like them, so much sharper than everyone else? Mo Fan told everyone about the common mistakes they could make, such as the foolish action by Wang Sanpang. Never approach any magical beast that looks dead, because it may use its last remaining strength to drag you down with it. Monkey, you're responsible for finding the path. Execute this cautiously, Mo Fan warned Zhang Xiaoho. Zhang Xiaohou nodded repeatedly. He would listen to everything Mo Fan said. Mu Bai, prepare your ice spread at all times. Remember that your ice spread is currently to be used to protect everyone. Don't count on freezing the faster magical beasts, Mo Fan instructed. Mu Bai creased his brow. He wanted to say something but ended up swallowing those words. He had a huge prejudice against Mo Fan. However, compared to the lives of everyone, including his own, that prejudice was indeed insignificant. He nodded his head to show he understood how to use ice spread. After Mo Fan quickly explained things to everyone, he took a deep breath. In fact, he himself did not know whether they would be able to safely pass through this 3-kilometer-long road of death. He just hoped everyone's luck would be good and they would not encounter 3 one-eyed magic wolves at the same time. The squad continued to advance. They encountered no other magical beasts along this 1-kilometer-long main street. However, they did find a few old people within the residential buildings who had been unable to retreat to the safety shelters in time. The vanguard squad was unable to escort any civilians, so Zhu Musheng could only tell these old people to follow the main group once they arrived, or else they would truly be in danger. Practically every road was blocked. Occasionally, they saw people making a vain attempt to drive to the safety shelters, only to abandon the cars along the blocked roads and switch to walking. Seeing the people on the road, Zhu Musheng and Zhuman told them to first find a place to hide and wait for the main group. After traversing the main street, they quickly arrived at the Mingyuan district. The Mingyuan district could be considered relatively high-end in Bo City, with buildings equipped with elevators. The entire district was decorated like a small park within the city. The space it occupied was quite large, and passing through all 4 of the A, B, C, and D areas of Mingyuan district would be nearly a kilometer of distance. No one knew how many people had yet to retreat from the large number of buildings, as they believed that being in tall buildings would keep them safe. The fences around the Mingyuan district were useless. Mo Fan could see a few of them already broken down, which meant there were definitely some magical beasts inside this relatively large area. After passing through the back door of the area, a pond came into view. A security guard's body was floating there, and the water in the pond had turned crimson red. The heavy rain had begun to slow, making the bloodstains in the city increasingly harder to clean. Seeing these bloodstains everywhere, the vanguard squad all got goosebumps as they passed through. Do you hear that? There's something yelling in this building, Zhuman whispered to Mo Fan. Mo Fan walked toward one of the buildings. Through the glass, he could vaguely see a shadow that did not belong to a human pass by the window. Let's hurry up and move forward, Mo Fan said without investigating further. Zhuman nodded, no longer daring to say anything else. After a few more steps, Zhang Xiaohou, who was searching for a path forward, returned in haste. There are more than 5 colossal-eyed ape rats ahead. We must go around, Zhang Xiaohou told them. All right, let's use another road, Mo Fan agreed, patting Zhang Xiaohou's shoulder to show he had done a good job. Zhang Xiaohou forced a smile. If he didn't make himself grow in this kind of environment, then he would only become a burden to the squad. He was prone to panic, but seeing Mo Fan still able to respond cool-headedly made him subconsciously feel braver. After going around the 5 rats, they passed through half of the district. The entire process was threatening but not dangerous. There's a colossal-eyed ape rat drinking by the swimming pool. We'll go around it. Why? We can clearly kill it and then directly pass through this place, Zhang Shuhua said, puzzled. Don't fight insignificant battles. Currently, our mana is more precious than water in a desert. The 9 of them safely passed through Mingyuan district. Considering that there was a large group following behind, Mo Fan also chose a route that was relatively spacious and sensible, so they wouldn't get congested and attract an attack from a group of magical beasts, which would be dangerous. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 100. Warrior Class, Bone-Thorned Fierce Wolf. Good. 1 more kilometer and we'll arrive safely, Zhu Musheng said. Letting Mo Fan lead the squad was a sensible decision. This guy was even more experienced than the teacher. He used beast-seeking dust to predict the whereabouts of the beasts, create diversions, and land instant kills with 0 casualties while passing through Mingyuan district. The number of magical beasts there was far higher than on the main street. Getting through unscathed was indeed extremely fortunate. The concentration of magical beasts outside the safety shelters is even higher. Everyone, make sure not to let down your guard, Mo Fan reminded them. The last kilometer was through a normal commercial and public entertainment district. There was no clear main street, only small alleys and winding roads. This kind of area was perfect for hiding from magical beasts, but also ideal for ambushes. The 9 of them moved nimbly, unlike the main group, where even changing direction required effort. It seems like there are other magicians in the middle of a battle. Should we merge with them? Zhang Xiaohou asked from a high vantage point. They're too busy to take us into consideration. Let's keep moving, Mo Fan replied. Just as Zhang Xiaohou was about to jump down, he froze. From a nearby bungalow, a massive wolf head slowly emerged, barbed, tooth-like bones jutted from it menacingly. Zhang Xiaohou's eyes widened, his breath catching in his throat. Heavens, that bungalow was at least 3 stories tall, yet the wolf's head was still higher. Just how big was this thing? Could it even be called an average magical beast anymore? Zhang Xiaohou, what are you doing? Hurry up and come down, Wang Sanpang called. Zhang Xiaohou was shaking. He edged toward the corner and pressed a finger to his lips, his eyes filled with alarm. Before Wang Sanpang could speak again, Mo Fan clamped a hand over his mouth. Zhu Musheng also seemed to realize the danger and quickly signaled everyone to hide. They pressed themselves into a corner, hardly daring to breathe, faces pale with fear. Who? A deep, resonant breath echoed nearby, and a strange current of air swept across the ground. Dong, dong, heavy steps made the earth tremble. With each one, the walls around them shuddered. Zhang Xiaohou, hiding in the hall corner, was almost level with the enormous wolf's head. He could feel the creature's 3 eyes scanning for them, sniffing in the direction. Shit, if it decided to attack, it could swallow all of them in one bite. Luckily, the stench of nearby garbage masked their scent. Otherwise, one swipe of its claw could have ended them instantly. Dong, dong, dong. The footsteps gradually faded into the distance. Only then did the rigid expressions on the vanguard squad begin to ease. Their hearts pounded violently, refusing to calm. No one dared move a step, still reeling from the encounter. Who the hell can tell me what that was? Wang Sanpang stammered, his lips trembling. Zhang Xiaohou nearly collapsed, his legs shaking uncontrollably. Too scary. This was nothing like the colossal-eyed ape rats or one-eyed magic wolves. This thing was on another level entirely. Their magic might not even scratch it. It's a warrior-class magical beast. A 3-eyed magic wolf, also known as the bone-thorned fierce wolf. Its 3 eyes give it a 270-degree field of vision, its body is as sturdy as steel, and its bones are sharp and jagged. For us, it's nothing short of a nightmare, Zhu Musheng said grimly. This isn't something we can handle, Zhu Zhaoting added, his voice tinged with despair. If an intermediate magician isn't prepared in time, they'd still be killed in one hit. We need to warn the main group about this warrior-class creature, or the damage will be catastrophic, Zhu Musheng said. Everyone nodded. Mo Fan glanced toward the Silver Commerce Tower, shrouded in post-rain mist. If a warrior-class bone-thorned fierce wolf was already this terrifying, what about the commander-level Darkwing wolf lying on the tower's dome? How strong would a magician need to be to face something like that? Against such beasts, they were nothing but prey. The heavy rain had stopped, but a mist still clung to the city. A kilometer south of the safety shelters, a female magician in a blood-stained white uniform dashed across the street, sweat pouring down her face. Behind her, 2 grotesque, Pitch-black monkey-like monsters gave chase, their twisted bodies exuding malice. They looked ready to tear her apart. Wind disk. Tornado. The air pressure dropped sharply. Debris swirled and spun violently. The vortex grew, the rotation intensifying until a colossal cyclone took shape, resembling a wind dragon that surged skyward. Parked cars lifted off the ground, street lamps wrenched free from their bases. The hideous monkey-faced beasts shrieked miserably as they were sucked into the storm, flailing helplessly. Boom, boom, boom. Cars crashed into each other, shards of metal filled the air, and the monsters were shredded into indistinct lumps of flesh. Scarlet rain splattered the ground. Lin Yuxin, catching her breath, managed a faint, relieved smile as she turned to the magician who had arrived in time. "Mr. Yang, thank you," she said gratefully. "If I'm not mistaken, those were dark beast monsters, the ones the Black Vatican loves to control," Yang Zue said gravely. "That's right, this disaster was caused by them," Lin Yuxin confirmed. "I thought as much. Unfortunately, there was no way to prepare Bo City for this." Sigh. Yang Zue's expression darkened with sorrow. This blood alert had struck without warning. Who knew how many lives were already lost? "I was attacked while protecting the underground holy spring. The goal seems to be the holy spring," Lin Yuxin explained. "We know. I was sent to find you specifically, to ensure the holy spring's safety." "You didn't give it to them, did you?" Yang Zue asked. Lin Yuxin shook her head. "They surrounded me, but when they realized I didn't have it, they flew into a rage and tried to kill me. I used a pack of scattered one-eyed magic wolves to escape." "You're clever. So, where is the underground holy spring now?" Yang Zue pressed. "I gave it to the student who was cultivating inside. I believe it's safer with him than with me," Lin Yuxin said. "Are you talking about Mo Fan, the boy with the innate dual element?" Yang Zue asked, clearly astonished. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.